Oh, all right. Hi, everybody. My name is Rita Crompton. I am the president and CEO of Archimedes Offspring, and this is my lovely dog, and you can't see her quite yet. This is the lovely new addition to my family, and this is Lila. All right. Oh, and she thinks that she should be able to bite on me. Her favorite thing to chew on right now is my arm and my fingers. And those little prickly things can just come back and bite you like crazy. And one of the reasons, jump down, baby girl. One of the reasons we want to make sure that you know your industry, all right, is so you don't get little prickly things coming back and biting you that you could have avoided. All right, so what are we talking about on today's topic is know your industry. Why would you want to know your industry? And part of it is why wouldn't you want to know your industry? There are barriers to entry for every industry. And so one of the things that we want to make sure is that you spend some time learning what those barriers to entry are. For instance, a new pet product, all right? There are about 4 companies in the United States that own all the shelf space in your PetSmarts, Walmart, Targets. And one of those don't pick you up, you're done, you're toast. Now, I mean, you can't go to market. No, it means that you can't plan selling in Target or Walmart or PetSmart. You've got to get other avenues. We had some people that did a pet tag holder a few years ago. And so what they did, understanding their barriers to entry, is they went to one of the big franchises that does daycare for doggies. That is where people lose their pet tags, is when the dogs are out playing. And so they started supplying pet tag holders to this company and selling them on Amazon. So they managed to get past the barriers to entry. But if they hadn't known, that would have made a big difference. Okay, so for some other industries, certainly being able to understand, are there any regulations? We had another lady that did pacifier. Baby teether, and the teether was wonderful. People love this teether, but in the beginning, she missed a measurement by like an eighth of a fraction of an inch and had to go back and redo the molds because it was a choking hazard. All right. If she hadn't caught that, all right, early on and been able to go ahead and get it fixed, even though she had to throw $5,000 away and start over, she could have ended up in a lawsuit and lost everything. Know your barriers to entry. The toy industry, their barrier to entry is not as much a barrier as it is a help. All right. You've got a lot of independent owners, toy store owners. That's tough to say 3 times in a row. Toy store owners, all right, who will place products locally for, inventors. So, understand then the barriers to entry is, did you use the right plastic? Is there anything in it? What was it manufactured in China? These are all big questions that the owner would ask you before being willing to place your product. So you've got to know those. The plastics, the paints, anything that could be now a hazard to children as well. So you need to know those things. When you go to a show, all right, and just get into walk a floor of a toy show, or a pet show, or like MedTrade for home healthcare products, you can ask people, you can start asking those questions. So this kind of goes back to why are trade shows so important? It is so that you can learn the right information that you need to make good business decisions and to take the right steps. So when we're looking then at, when you're going to a show, you can ask, what are the manufacturing criteria? What do I have to watch out for? What did you, Mr. Toy manufacturer, what did you have to deal with? What did you have to watch out for? If you make it about them and what they learned, it helps you to learn and helps you to then absorb the right information, so that when you go out, you can say, all right, I learned at the show that these were some standards, some industry standards that I need to check into. Are there issues with measurements? Are there issues with materials? And when you're at the show, you can also find out price points for that industry. There's, we always talk about the multiple of 5, but there is a bit of a swing in different industries. If you're doing a software plus a hardware, that's different again. So you got a little bit more of a swing. That multiple of 5 is not quite so strongly etched in stone. There's things that you need to learn as far as, how, if you're going to do Amazon, they're not looking for a 50% on the markup. They're doing 20%. So again, once you start ironing out some of the issues that you have, and when you're dealing with Archimedes Offspring, when you're chosen for the vetting process, part of this we're going to iron out for you ahead of time. Part of it you're going to bring with you because you've already done some investigation, and the more information you have, the easier it is to start making business decisions. So when you're looking then at going through the early stages of the vetting process, you want to know as much as you can. Going to a trade show, yeah, it's got your travel expenses and you're going to have to pay to get in. But at this level, at this point, we're not looking at you getting a booth space. Go and walk the floor, ask the questions. All right. Who are the major players in the industry? Do I have to be aware of the fact that there's just a certain number of groups that have shelf space in this industry? Are there manufacturing criteria as far as materials that be used? When you look at who would be using your product, all right, is it the elderly? Is this something that needs to be Medicare approved or Medicaid approved? Those are all things you want to know. We just are finishing up a licensing deal with a couple in the New England area, and they were just absolutely determined that their product should be Medicare approved. And the licensee said, that is really not in your best interest because we sell a ton of product online and they're not going to do Medicare approved. All right. So, especially and I need to correct that a little bit, for the lower end price products under $100. Said, we sell a lot more just because these are lower priced products out the door online on the Amazons and some of the other online stores. So that they don't want to worry about having to do the Medicare approved. It's something you want to know. They had no idea, but once they start understanding the reality of it, it's like, oh, okay, we get it. You don't want to go through that process. It's expensive. You don't want to go through that process and end up having it bite you, because stores hate having to do all the paperwork for Medicare and Medicaid approved. Sometimes when it's a less than $100 item, it's not worth the aggravation. But you don't know that unless you start asking those questions. So when you go to your industry's show and you start looking at, all right, my basic buyer is going to be, my basic user is going to be. So the buyers might be the parents, but the users might be the children. It might be predominantly, if it's industry specific, truck drivers or teachers or pet owners. So you want to understand then where they're going to go look for the product and how the buyer's perception of it is one way, but sometimes regulations are another way. So we want to make sure that you understand those. Know your industry. Know what barriers you have to deal with. Know what pricing issues. Know if, just like with the pet industry, there's only a few companies that own all of the shelf space. Do you have an alternative? Baby products and children's products. Are there issues with materials? The last thing you want to do is have 5,000 made and know that you are just the tiniest fraction of an inch off, because that's it. You're done. All right. You want to know where there's industries. Ace Hardware is great. Your local Ace Hardware for consumer gadgets, they are great because most of them are independently owned. So they're very kind to inventors. All right. Some of the nurseries, if you've got a lawn product, are very good to inventors. Know before you've spent a ton of money where you're planning to sell. And if you say, oh, I've got an in with Walmart. No, probably not. And besides that, that is your first step to bankruptcy. So again, know your industry, know the plan. All right, have a plan, create a plan, have another plan. All right, you've got plan A and plan B and probably a plan C. Make a plan. All right, not a business plan. That is the last thing I want to see. But you should know, it's like, all right, here are the barriers to entry to my industry, and here's what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to gather this information. I'm going to make sure that I use this type of material. I know that I'm not going to be able to get shelf space, so this is what I need to do. Learn what you need to do. Right, Lila girl? She says, yes, absolutely. Learn what you need to do. Don't let those little prickly teeth or any prickly thorns get in your way of success. My name is Rita Crompton. I am the president and CEO of Archimedes Offspring. Please send me your questions. Sometimes the question has enough oomph around it that I can create one of the videos and help a lot of other people out. So please ask your questions, reach out. We are here to help you achieve your future. Thank you.